In today's Beehiiv tutorial, we are going to cover everything needed to successfully build up a newsletter using Beehiiv. We are going to cover all of the features inside Beehiiv that you will actually need to know, like creating landing pages, creating opt-in pages, writing your newsletter, and we are also going to cover different kind of ways to grow and monetize your newsletter right inside Beehiiv. Now, as for the pricing, I think Beehiiv actually is pretty affordable given how many features you're going to get. Additionally, they do actually offer a completely free plan for up to 2,500 subscribers, and if you are going to use the link down below, you can actually get yourself a 30-day free trial to test out the paid plans for completely free. So to get started, I'm just going to create myself a free account right now. I'm going to get started by putting in my personal details right here. And once you've signed up, just make sure to select newbie right here, it doesn't really matter. And then you will have to get started by actually setting the default parameters of your newsletter. In this case, we can change the newsletter name, subdomain, as well as tags. In my case, I now actually changed this to Canva University, as I'm just going to build up an example newsletter about the design tool Canva, and then I've also included the tags art as well as creativity. However, you are going to have a lot of other options as well. Then just click on continue, and now you can just get started with the free trial. Perfect. And now we are going to be redirected onto the actual Beehiiv dashboard. To get started, if you do already have existing subscribers from other providers, for example, you can just click on import list right here, click on start new import, and now we can either import our subscribers as a CSV file, or we can actually also copy and paste them. In my case, I'm just going to select upload a CSV file, and I'm now actually going to head over to my example list right here. I'm going to upload it. We can then actually also add them to automations or apply subscriber tags. In this case, I'm not actually going to do this, and I'm just going to click on import subscribers right here. Right here, if you do want to, you can then actually map all of the data inside your import. In my case, I'm just going to import this either way. And now once we've actually imported this, if we are now going to head over to audience on the left and so to subscribers, we can see our free email subscribers as for the example which I've used. And then under audience, we actually also do have the segment option right here. This basically just works as a dynamic list to actually subdivide your contacts. Just click on create segment, and then we do have the option to choose between static, dynamic, as well as manual. So for example, I will go with the dynamic option right now. I'm going to name this test segment. And now we can actually also put in a description if we do want to. This is just for our own sakes, just for organizing purposes. And then we will have to actually define the conditions. So we are going to have a lot of different conditions to choose from. For example, if you do want to create a segment for all of the engaged subscribers, we can do so by selecting engagement right here. And by then setting that up, we can actually also create a segment depending on the email data. So for example, we can say that, okay, we are going to create a segment for people that actually have either received the welcome email or opened it, or actually also clicked something inside the welcome email. On the other hand, we can actually also further customize this by actually changing things like the referral count. I will show you how to set this up later on, but one of the key features of Beehiiv, and one of the reasons why I actually prefer Beehiiv over all of the other competitors out there, is the referral feature. So I'm going to show you how to set this up later on. But actually, you can also set that inside the segments option right here. In my case, I'm just going to say referral count, and let's now say that, okay, if the referral count is greater than 10, and now we do have a segment for all of the people that do have more than 10 referrals, and we could then, for example, give out some special discounts, for example, to these people, and so on. So I'm just going to save the segment right here. Then we also do have the option to actually set up polls. You can create polls to get the opinion of your subscribers. As you can see right here, we can then just put in a question. For example, what would you like to see in the future? And then we can actually put in all sorts of different choices. So as I'm going to build up a design-based newsletter, I'm for example going to put in design case studies, tutorials, free templates. And then once you've set this, you can just save this, and you will obviously have to name this. So I'm just going to name this, what do you want to see in the future? Okay, perfect. And once we've saved this, this is going to look something like this. And we can then actually also integrate this right onto our newsletters that we are going to send out. But more on that later on. I will show you in depth how to create newsletters. No worries, we are going to get there. However, there are still some other things which we will have to set before that. As for subscriber data, right here you are just going to see an overview of all of the custom data fields if you are going to set this up. And then under surveys, we can actually create a survey for our subscribers. So for example, we can then actually head over to Form Builder right here. We can click on Add First Question. And let's for example say that this is going to be, what is your name? Then we do have the question type, short response, multiple choice, drop down, long response. We can actually also put in a custom field value right here, or we can create a new one. In this case, I'm just going to select create a new one, and then I'm going to name this first name. As for the data type, this would be text, and we can then create this custom field. We can add this onto the survey. We can also repeat this process with maybe what is your phone number, okay? And then we can create a new custom data field called number, and then we are going to name this phone number. Okay, perfect. We can now actually change the settings if we do want to, and we can also see all of the responses right here. I'm for now just going to publish this, and now we are going to have this available, and we can once again actually then integrate it later on onto the newsletter. Alternatively, we can actually also enable this as a subscribe survey, which basically is going to mean that only people that are going to be subscribed are actually going to do the survey. And then we can actually also set up subscribe forms right here. We can create a new form. I'm just going to name this test. And then we are going to, let me quickly show you this. Description. You are going to have a simple subscribe form. However, in my opinion, this isn't going to be the best way of actually getting subscribers. Rather, I'm going to show you how to set up a complete landing page for your newsletter. However, this subscribe page right here does work great to actually integrate on your website. So if you just want to have one small section inside your website where people can automatically sign up, this works great, and you can just use this HTML code right here to actually integrate this. Now, to actually customize this, you can use these color things right here. You can change the typography, and you can then actually also change the header, description, and so on. Perfect. We can now continue by actually setting up our website inside Beehiiv. So to get started, we will actually have to set some basic parameters for all across our Beehiiv dashboard essentially. To do this, exit out of this and head over to the settings on the bottom left. Then head over to publication, and right here we will then have to set the logo for our newsletter and for our website. So in this case, I'm just going to quickly upload my logo. I just uploaded an example logo. We can then actually also change the reply to email address. We can change the address as well as all of the other different kind of settings for our newsletter. And then we are also going to have the option to right here change our domain. Now, I would highly recommend you to add a custom domain onto your newsletter. This is just going to be way more professional essentially, and in my opinion this is a must-have. Now, I personally are a big fan of Hostinger and Namecheap. For both of these options are going to be great. Both of these options can get you domains for I think less than $5. So I would recommend you to just use either of them. I will leave you a link for both of these tools in the description down below. In my case, I do have my domain hosted on Namecheap. However, the actual connection setup is going to be basically the same for all domain providers out there. So to get started, just click on Add Custom Domain right here, and then put in www. and then put in your domain. In my case, canvauniversity.com. And then we are going to repeat this process, and we are going to put in mail.canvauniversity.com. And then we do have both of these domains added. However, we will now actually have to connect them and we will have to verify our records. To do so, click on verify right here. And then we will basically have to add these 3 DNS records, or I guess this DNS record right here. To do this, head over to your domain. So look for the advanced DNS option, and as for the case, as for Namecheap, this would be right here. And then first of all, delete all of the default DNS records that you have available. And then we are going to create a new text record. And as for the value, make sure to copy this and then paste this onto this thing right here. And then we are going to have to repeat this process for this one right here. Just going to once again add a text record. And then I'm going to copy this. And then I'm going to once again copy the value. Alright, perfect. And in this case, the actual text record is actually the same, so you will only have to do this once. Now we can click on verify, and if we're now going to verify this, as you can see, both domains are going to be available. We can then actually also update our URL right here, and we can then select a custom web domain, in this case www.canvauniversity.com. And then we will have to actually complete this by adding a CNAME record. So in this case, I'm just going to click on add record, CNAME, and then as for the value, I'm just going to copy this. And then I'm going to paste this onto this. As for the host, just put in www. Click on verify setup. And this is then going to take a couple of seconds. And as you can see I now got this pop-up. Either way, this can only be checked every 10 minutes, but I set up everything correctly. However, the DNS settings normally do take between 30 minutes to 48 hours to update actually, so it's completely normal that this can actually take some time. And then under email domain, we will also have to update this, and then we will have to select custom email domain, and then we are going to select mail.canvauniversity.com. Going to click on configure domain, and now we are going to have to add these 3 domain configuration codes right here. It's going to be the same process all over again. And once we've did so, we can click on verify setup, and now this actually instantly got verified. Perfect. Now this is live, and as for the web domain, this is actually also going to be live within a couple of hours or minutes. Either way, then we can actually also further customize our default parameters by heading over to the Design Lab on the left. And right here, we can then actually set the default stuff, like for example, the spacing. We can actually also change the border color, outside color, background color, and so on. However, generally, I wouldn't recommend you to actually mess around with this. I would rather recommend you to change this later on. However, additionally, make sure to add all of your social media handles onto this thing right here. Like this is then actually automatically going to be displayed on your emails so that subscribers can actually find your social media profiles. But as of right now, we are finally done with all of the backend settings. So let's opt out of this and let's get started by building up our website. Now this is going to be pretty straightforward. We basically do have our header part right here. Then we do have this opt-in section as well as the archive where people can actually then see all of the different blog posts, because with Beehiiv all of your newsletters are actually automatically going to be converted as basically to blog posts, which will then show up right here. Now we can then set our global colors. So for example, if we do want to change these, we can do so right here on the left. Additionally, we can change the typography as well as the general radius and shadows. So for example, if we do want to add this, we do have the option to. However, the interesting part is going to be these things right here. First off, global navigation. You can choose between 6 different templates. So if you do want to actually see this, you will have to refresh this site right now. As you can see, now we do have template 3 enabled, and basically most of them are going to look exactly the same. You can then also change the view of your website by using these icons right here on top, and basically you can then also change the subscribe widget, and then this basically these are just going to be minor changes. For example, you can actually also enable the email icon right here. You can actually also enable the border, and this is basically going to come down to your own preferences. Additionally, you can change the color of the body right here, and you can then actually also change the button text. So if you do want to change this to maybe join 15k plus readers, I don't know, just an example, and then we can actually do this, and now this got successfully updated. Now then we can also do this with the post styles as well as the global footer, but just as for now, I'm just going to click on Publish Styles on the top right. And then, this is also important, as for the layout right here on the left, we can actually also change this if we do want to. However, generally, I wouldn't recommend you to do this, as the default layout, in my opinion, does work the best. And as for the general settings, you can actually also go over these. However, in general, to get started, you aren't actually going to use them. Perfect. Let's now actually continue with the fun part, and let's now actually get started writing our own newsletter. To do so, just click on Write and then click on Post right here. Now, you are also going to have the content tags as well as automation feature, but you are going to do most of the work inside Posts, and then just click on Start Writing. And now we can go ahead. Now, if you've used tools like Notion in the past, this is actually going to basically work similar to this. The Beehiiv editor is actually going to work very similar. So if we are now going to put in a slash, we can see all of the different blocks that we can actually integrate onto our blog post or onto our newsletter. In this case, I'm going to get started with an image, and I'm then just going to upload my Canva University logo onto this. Now, obviously, I guess this would be a little bit too big. So to now actually change this, you can click on this icon right here, and we can now change the width to, let's say, something like 40, I guess, could work fine. And then we are going to get started by adding a heading. So I'm going to add the heading 1, and I'm now just going to put something in like, have you heard about these new Canva features? And then we can get started by now, for example, putting in a bulleted list, and then we can put in feature 1, feature 2, feature 3. Alright, perfect. Now, as for the basic stuff like images, titles, and text, I guess you are going to know how this is going to work either way. However, as for the premium section right here, this is actually really interesting. For example, we can actually insert advertisements onto our newsletter right within Beehiiv. So I will actually show you how to set this up later on in detail, but you are going to have that option. And basically you can just insert ads onto your newsletter with this block, and then Beehiiv is going to do all of the work for you. Now the same goes for basically the paywall break. This is going to be a paid feature, so I'm not going to cover this right now. But additionally, you can actually also insert a poll, which we have actually done beforehand. So we have created a poll, and I will now just add this onto my newsletter. Now by default, this doesn't really look that nice. However, if we are going to preview this, as you can see, this does look way better. And now if someone is going to click on here, they're going to be redirected onto this page right here, where they can then actually also put in additional feedback. Okay. Alright, now some other blocks which would be interesting are going to be, first of all, this referral program block. I will show you how to set this up in just a second, as well as this boost block, which in my opinion is one of the best ways to actually earn money with your newsletter. I'm also going to show you how to set this up in just a second. But to actually send out your email and to actually send your blog, you will have to first of all put in a title right here. So in this case, we can just put in new Canva features are out, and I'm just going to say unheard. I don't know. Basically with this title, you just want to get people to actually click on the email, and you can then also put in whatever you want onto the subtitle. Once again, the main goal of this should be to actually get people to open up the email. Then, as for the authors, in this case this would be only Elias Krause, myself. However, you can actually also add guest authors onto this, and you can actually manage these easily right inside Beehiiv, which I really like. But either way, you can then actually also hide this from the feed if you do want to. This would be the post settings. As for the email settings, you are going to see that the subject line actually right away got updated because we have ticked that right here. Either way, you can then once again change the preview text. This will be the same as the post subtitle right here, as we do have this ticked. Alternatively, we can now actually put in other preview text onto the email than on the post, because we do have this unticked right here. As for the website, this is going to show up like this. You can then actually also select a thumbnail by uploading a thumbnail, which I would actually recommend you to do. You can actually also use Unsplash for this. So in my case, I'm just going to use this random thumbnail right here. Then as for SEO and delivery, basically just leave this at the default. And I'm now actually going to click on schedule right here on the bottom right to actually post this. You can either schedule this, or you can actually also just publish this now, which I'm going to do. I'm just going to click on publish now. And now this successfully got published. If we are now going to click on view published, we can see that this is going to be available on our website, right on canvauniversity.com. We do have this archive thing right here where we do see the thumbnail and where people can actually click on it. Obviously, we can also change the font of our website if we do want to. I personally don't really like this font right here. But either way, this is going to be available. Now we can get into the other features of Beehiiv, which are going to help you to grow and monetize your newsletter. Now, before we are going to get into the basically monetization features, I'm quickly going to show you the different kind of ways that Beehiiv is going to help you to grow. First of all, this would be the referral program. I actually already hinted this, but this is one of my favorite Beehiiv features, because basically with this, you can let your readers essentially do all of the work for you. You can add different kind of milestones, and you can then set rewards for different kind of, basically if for example someone did refer 10 people, you could say that okay, they are going to get 10% of your shop, that they are going to get some kind of special deal, and so on. And you can basically just leverage that to get free subscribers for your email. Additionally, you can actually also add recommendations. Basically, this is just a way of recommending other newsletters, and these newsletters can then potentially recommend you back, and this is then also going to be visible on the sign up page, I guess. Magic links, you don't really need this, but basically with this right here, this is just a one-page email sign up link right here. I don't know why this isn't available right now. I don't know, but either way, I wouldn't recommend you to use this. Just make sure to use your normal landing page or your normal opt-in page. And then as for boosts, basically with boost, you can let other people promote your newsletter inside their newsletter essentially. So I've already hinted this before in the newsletter editor. This basically goes two ways. You can first of all let other people promote your newsletter. Obviously then you would have to pay. However, alternatively, you can also promote other newsletters on your newsletter where you are then going to get the money. And to actually do this, head over to monetization, and right here on the boost, you can actually see that you can earn upwards of $4, upwards of $3.50. $6.50 right here, just for getting people to sign up to other newsletters. The only thing that you will have to do is to actually apply to these newsletters, and then if you are going to be accepted, you can just place the block onto your newsletter, and when you're going to send your newsletter out, you can then basically earn passive income, I guess, because you don't really have to work for this. And $6.50 per subscriber, in my opinion, is mind-blowing. Either way, in my opinion, this is a great way of actually monetizing your newsletter. Alternatively, you can actually also get advertisements right in Beehiiv. Now, this is only going to work once you are going to have a couple of thousands of subscribers. But once you do have some subscribers on your newsletter, you are going to get ad proposals right inside here, which also just makes monetizing your newsletter as easy as possible. And then you also do have the option to basically allow to offer a paid membership and to basically offer a paid newsletter, which a lot of people are doing right now. But this is only going to work if you actually do provide super high quality newsletters. Either way, once you do have some funds, you are going to see that in the wallet right here, and you can then actually also withdraw all of your earnings right inside here. Now, that's basically it for this video. If you do have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments down below, and make sure to get yourself a Beehiiv trial by using the link down below.